What's up, guys? It's Riggs. Today I am bringing you a New Game Plus tutorial for Chrono Trigger. I will be using the Japanese version of the game, so if you don't have the Japanese version of the game, you're going to have to find it yourself. I'm not going to link to it. The second thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to the Chrono Speedrun wiki, which is chrono.wiki.com, and that's wiki dot spelled out, so it's wikidot.com. Little confusing. You can find all of the resources you need there. The only thing is when you do download the save file for the Japanese version of the game that you're going to need for New Game Plus, you actually have to rename it and give it a new file extension. And I believe the file extension is going to be save RAM. So I think it's going to, you're going to get it as an SRM, and then you are going to change the name to whatever your Japanese version of the game is called, capital S, A, V, E, capital R, capital A, capital M, save RAM, and that will actually allow you to use it because EmuHawk does not use .srm files. Or it does, but it just renames them. But I couldn't get it to work until I actually renamed the save file to a .save RAM. So that's gonna save you a lot of time and research because it took me like 3 days to figure all that out. Okay, after you get all that done, here I'm gonna unpause this, and I'm just gonna show you the menu, what it looks like, because now we are in the Japanese version of the game. We are going to be using save file 2. And this is going to be New Game Plus on the right-hand side. This is New Game. Make sure you select New Game Plus or else you're going to have a bad time with a lot of resets. The next thing is we use a 16-beat intro. And what that means, if you are not used to reloading with Chrono Trigger, is this ILA that I put down below so that you do not have to go to the wiki site to find it. That is what I mean by beat. Every time she moves, that is a tick or a beat. We use a 16-beat load. And you're going to start from your first A press. So if I'm on this menu, I'm going to count to 16 and do the whole load and the whole count. So Isla's dancing. I'm going to wait for her to do one of her side animations, and then I'm going to press A at the exact same time, and that's going to be my 1. So I'm going to start counting at that moment. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And as soon as you get to 16, you'll load the second file. We're going to do wait. And then you don't have to rename Chrono at all, but his mom does still use his name in text boxes. So after watching the couple world records, Avanis himself does just a single character name for Chrono. Then you have the beautiful Chrono Trigger entry. And the first thing you'll notice down below is that my timer is set up differently than it would be for any other category. We actually use a very different starting time, and it's going to be the very last text box that your mom has upstairs before Chrono starts to get out of bed. And the timer is actually counting down from when Chrono starts moving to your first able action to move around. So through all these text boxes you can mash if you know where they are. You don't have to. You can go very slowly. Like, I usually load the game with the 16 beat, and then I go get some water or something, since we're not starting like right away anyway. This is the text box, so don't mash through this text box. As soon as Chrono's mom moves away from the bed and then turns around and talks to you again, this is the last text box. You're going to press A and start your timer at the exact same time, and then it will count down to Chrono's first action. I, of course, am not going to be doing this as a timed thing. I'm just going to show you what it looks like real quick. So I press A and start my timer. I can't move Chrono at all. I can't move Chrono at all until it gets to 0. Bam. And I actually started my timer a little early, so Chrono wasn't able to move before I got to where it was actually counting up. But you see what I mean. You're going to go downstairs, and you're going to talk to your mom. For the naming process for both Luca and Meryl, you will want to start mashing start as soon as it wants to start naming them. Because optimally, you do not want the naming screen to come up at all. Because it wastes a little bit of time. If you do get it, it's fine. But optimally, you want it to just... See, I didn't do it optimally. Usually you can just get it to be black from start, like it's trying to load in something, but it never actually pops up, and that's optimal. You'll mash text boxes, leave your house, and then you're going to the Millennium Fair. Before I go up and talk to Meryl, or bump into Meryl, rather, there is a very specific way to talk to her after you pick up her necklace. I'm going to show you the timing, just because it took me a little while to figure it out. I do it differently from Avanis and Red Slash, and Chrono Kirby is the other one, who I think had another weird timing. But I'm going to bump into Meryl. I'm going to talk to her as she's walking by Chrono on the ground, and I'm going to wait for an audio cue, which is the very last bell ring. And then I'm going to close the text box. I'm going to run and grab the necklace, and then come to a specific spot right next to the right wall. And then I will talk to Meryl when she is right on top of Chrono. So let's see if I can do it. Bump into Meryl. Mash through text boxes. And you want to do this as fast as possible because this audio cue is weird. Stop Meryl right there. There's the sound. Grab the necklace, come down here, and you talk to her right there. If you go down a little farther than I did, you'll actually be able to get it while she is right on top of Chrono. And that makes this little thing where she jumps into the air and joins your party a lot faster. And now we're going to go to this guy, which, you know, if you want to get to Luca's exhibit, you can't right after getting Meryl, so you have to come and talk to this vendor down here. And this is actually going to be our first and second to last menu of the game, because there's only two. There's this one where we do a bunch of equips, and then there's a second one right when you go through the Lavos portal. It's what we call the shell glitch, or the shell menu glitch, and you actually cancel the loading into Lavos to be able to change a couple of your options in the settings menu. But right now we're gonna talk to Pierre. From here you can buy or sell, but if you press down, you can go to your characters. And for this, for Chrono, you want to just double tap A and equip the only other sword he has. Press R1, go to Meryl, go down to the helmet, double tap A to equip the top helmet. Press L1, select the helmet, go down, and equip the second one. And then go down, equip the only one that on his armor, and then equip this top accessory. And that's actually it for the menu. If you can do that fast, great. It took me a lot of practice. So it's going to be... For Chrono, you equip the top weapon, you go to Meryl, you equip the top helmet, go back to Chrono, equip the second helmet, and then for Chrono, you equip the top armor and the top accessory, just to make that easy. And now we have what really you need to hit if you want a time that is better than about 6:43, I think is the best time I've gotten without hitting the candy glitch. Or the candy skip. It's not a glitch, it's just skipping Meryl pulling you and wanting to get some candy, so you have to stand next to her for a bit. I'm not going to go over that here. You can go and watch my other candy skip tutorial that I put out 2 days ago? I think I put it out 2 days ago. Whatever, it's on my YouTube. Just look up candy skip tutorial, 840 rigs, or rigs, whatever. So I'm going to see if I can hit this candy skip. Perfect. Okay, So that's the candy skip. Missed the whole, I want some candy, Meryl pulls you away. To open the portal for Lavos, when you get in here, you'll run right up to the top, the right teleporter. You don't want to talk to Luca or anything. Optimally, you can run to the back of this teleporter, but to save frames, I like to just stand on the very last step and hit A twice, because you can open it from pretty far away. And this is where we do the show menu glitch. As soon as the warp portal turns black, hold the menu button, you'll come to this menu, you'll go to your settings, you'll change battle speed to 2, you'll go up and click on this one on the left. I can't remember what the option is called right now. But just make sure that this is checked, because in battle, this makes sure that it remembers where you put your cursor. I think it's called cursor select. And we want that. And then you can just leave your menu. That is our second and last menu. So for Lavos, this is your first and only RNG check for the entire run. What you want to happen is you want Meryl to come down to 506 health. If Meryl does not have 506 health, there are other ways to beat it, but it's going to be a lot slower, and somebody's going to die. You're just going to want to reset if Meryl does not come to 503 health. So, Lavos is going to attack, and during Lavos' attack, you want to select Luminaire with Chrono, which is actually going to be the last attack in his single tech menu. So before you get to the doubles down below 1, it's going to be this final star on the right. So during this animation, you can just select it. And I'm actually off RNG right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... I have a save state ready for this. I'm going to do this whole menu again real quick. Okay. And now we're back to Lavos. Sorry about that. So again, Lavos attacks. You come down to the last star. You attack Lavos. Meryl has 506 health, so you know you have good RNG. Chrono does a Luminaire. And then with Meryl, we're going to do Ice 2. So as soon as Chrono's ATB bar fills, scroll all the way to the bottom and just use Ice 2, because it is the very, very last option in Meryl's menu. So all you have to do is hold down until you get there and select it. You're going to mash one text box before going through the shell. Meryl says something once, and then you go through the shell. As soon as you fall down, Meryl says something again. So you'll mash a text box here. Also, if you did not get the shell menu glitch, this is where you're going to be doing your all of your menuing. So just remember that you have to mash through 2 text boxes, and if you didn't get the shell menu glitch, you'll be doing all of that option here. Your first fight will be slower if you did not get the shell menu glitch, because we set the battle speed much faster. So Chrono's ATB bar fills faster if you hit the glitch, which saves time. That's what we want. There's going to be one more text box from Meryl before this fight. And I'm actually going to make a save state right here, because I want to show you guys what doesn't happen when you don't move fast enough for Chrono's second attack. What we're going to do here is Lavos is going to use Doors of Doom, during which Chrono, you want to have him use Luminaire. So, Doors of Doom. You're already set to Luminaire, so all you have to do is go to his tech menu, select it. And then the next thing, as soon as Chrono's ATB bar fills again, you're going to want to select it immediately and do another Luminaire. If you do not do this Luminaire fast enough, and you do get hit by this, then you're actually kind of out of luck, and this is probably a reset. So I'm now just gonna do the fight. Doors of Doom. Luminaire. And then move to Chrono as soon as his ATB bar fills again. You'll use Luminaire. And then you're actually going to wait for Chrono's ATB bar to fill, wait for Lavos to use Chaos. There's Chaos. You'll use Luminaire while he's in this animation. And then with Meryl, you're going to use a Hyper Ether, which is just this first one that you have 4 of. You're going to use a Hyper Ether on Chrono, because you want to keep his MP up. And then you're just going to mash for Luminaire right here. Meryl's ATB bar is going to fill again, and you're going to switch to Chrono real fast again. And then from here, Meryl is going to use Ice 2, and if you go to her single text, it is going to be this one that I'm currently highlighting, the bottom right, the top, the second to last one on the bottom right. So, go ahead and use Ice 2, and that'll finish off this fight. And then you're going to mash through text boxes again. I love this scream. It's so good. Okay. So, in this next fight, I'm going to leave this here for a second. Chrono is not going to use Luminaire at the beginning. You're actually going to switch to Confuse. And when you go into the tech menu, there is actually a slight delay from when you can do your first action. So, if you get the inputs down, it's just going to be A, left, A, right, A. But if you do it too fast, you actually just use Luminaire again. And I had a problem with this for a while. Like 3 or 4 runs in a row, I did it way too fast, and I didn't switch to Confuse because it doesn't take your input right away. But you're gonna want to use Confuse on the sucker on the left. So like, this is Confuse right here, so when Chrono's ATB bar fills, you press A, you have a slight delay, you press left, you press A, you press right, you press A. And that will attack the sucker on the left. Meryl, you want to have attack the sucker on the right. Just a regular attack. And then Chrono's ATB bar is going to load. And they're going to do a defense down. Lavos is going to use defense down. During this, you just set Chrono back to Luminaire. And then you're going to do another Luminaire, Hyper Ether Chrono, and then it's Luminaires from the end. They do a time warp here before Meryl's ATB bar fills, so the timing is a little bit weird, but you'll get the hang of it after a few runs, a few fights of this. So there's a time warp, Meryl's ATB bar fills, and then you switch to Chrono immediately. Do another Luminaire. Meryl is going to use a Hyper Ether on Chrono. After the Hyper Ether, you just want to mash A. because you just want to do another Luminaire. Meryl's ATB bar fills, and then you have to switch to Chrono for the next 2 Luminaires. But there's only 2 left, so... Luminaire. And 1 more Luminaire after that. Okay, and here is the weird part of this. Because the final split is when the damage gets to its highest point on the final sucker. So you'll wait for Luminaire. That's the highest point right there. So as soon as it hits the peak, that's when you split. And that's New Game Plus. That's it. It's done. You're going to practice the fights. The big things to remember are... Or the big things to really practice are going through the names and finding out when you start mashing start to make sure that the naming menus don't come up for both Luca and Meryl. You want to practice the grouping with Meryl after you pick up the pendant, because that one's a little weird. Took me a little while to get Meryl to land right on top of Chrono every time. I'm going to pause this. And then you're going to want to practice the fights and make sure that the timing is good on all of those. The big things are the second Luminaire in the second fight and the confuse menu for the final Lavos. And otherwise, this run is super easy. The candy skip you'll definitely need to get. Your first few runs, don't worry about it. You can go and check out my other candy skip tutorial where I go very, very in-depth on how to do it, what the candy loading zone is, and how to bypass it. There's 3 ways. The main one I did here where I just ran under the bell, and then there's 2 other movements that you can do. For me, they feel better, but it's just what you would call swag movement. That's really all it is. Anyway, guys, thank you. I'm 840 Rigs. This is New Game Plus. Please join the Chrono Trigger running community. It's full of a lot of nice people. Everybody in the Discord is super helpful with anything you need. I actually couldn't get the shell menu glitch consistently, and I asked the question within 30 minutes. 4 people told me that I didn't need to mash for the menu, and it was actually better to just hold after the screen goes black. So that's how I found that out. And that was basically the last thing I needed before I put together this tutorial. The rest of this run is super easy. Anyway, I will have notes to the Chrono Trigger Speedrunning wiki in the notes. I will have a link to the first part of El Gran Jerry's No Lavo Shell Skip tutorial down in the notes, and I will also have the Chrono Trigger Discord invite down in the notes. So please join us. We're always looking for more people. We love Chrono Trigger, and you should too. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.